Uncensored. I am your host, Keith Andrew. Along here is my guest, Tracy Willet. Yeah, I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you for having me.
Now, for people who want to know what Uncensored is, Uncensored's my way to show people that even with a learning disability, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life, at the same time turning myself into a perfect example for people out there deaf, blind, or in a wheelchair. You should never label yourself, and you should prove to people you can still amount to something and don't have them labeling you. And Uncensored's unofficial, and I'm trying to turn it into an official talk show. And I'm honored and privileged to have you doing this with me.
I'm honored too. I think it's amazing what you're doing, so thank you for the opportunity to be a part of it.
Well, you're welcome, and the privilege is all mine. Now, like I said, it's a half hour, 45-minute normal conversation. You can say anything you want, you can curse if you want to, you can express yourself, and just have fun at it. Now, starting off, what can you tell me about yourself?
Well, I grew up in Chicago, Illinois, and went all through school there. I was a figure skater for quite a bit of my childhood and teenage years. Spent a lot of time competing and doing that while I was growing up. And then went to college and got a degree in advertising. When I finished with that, I realized I really wanted to perform, and that's what I felt I was called to do, to pursue music and acting. So I moved to New York, and I've been here for quite a while pursuing that. I went to acting school here in New York, and just been trucking along ever since, working in film and in theater for that.
Oh, that's really awesome.
Yeah, it's been an adventure.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is, so what did you major in college?
I majored in advertising. I wrote music a lot when I was younger, and so I went to college hoping to do the creative part of advertising, and studied that and really enjoyed it, actually, and moved to New York with writing music as my intention when I came here. And it just kind of, when I went to acting school, I was still writing and studying music, and it kind of turned into more of a love for acting from there.
All right, well, if you're interested, I'd like to hire you about your advertising skills.
Yeah, it might work out. I haven't done it in quite a while, but I still like to write, so maybe we could do something together, right?
Right. Well, what can you tell me about the advertising? Is it hard? Is it easy? Or what does it forte?
I haven't worked much in advertising since I've come to New York, because, like I said, I've been pursuing acting and music most of my time here. But as an artist, you're kind of your own, probably, as you know, your own advertiser all the time. So I think today with social media, it's gotten a bit easier. It's much easier to reach so many people in a small amount of time. But I think you have to have a very specific kind of edge to what you're marketing and make it unique. And there's so much, I feel, stimuli in today's world that you have to do something that makes you noticeable and unique for people to really pay attention to. Or else it's on to the next social media ad, you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
Now, when you were in college, were you a party animal, study nerd?
I was a big study nerd, a very study nerd. Yeah, I didn't really party much. I mean, I had a very, very close group of friends that I would hang out with. But I was pretty into my studies. I was very into theater, and I was also figure skating in college, so I was competing with the team there. So we would have late night practices. I didn't really have much time to be a party animal, if that had been a desire of mine. I was pretty, get good grades, focus on my dreams or what have you, and I didn't have much time after all that. I just kind of slept and then woke up and did it all again.
Did he ever get the chance, well, before I ask this, but did he do any sports or?
Figure skating was the main sport that I did, but I would play softball for fun. I did running quite a bit. I would run on my own, but nothing sport-wise other than ice skating competitively.
Did he ever get the chance to do one of those human pyramids, or not a human pyramid girl?
No, I haven't ever done a human pyramid. I've seen them. They look like they're a lot of fun, but no, I've never got to do that. It would be interesting to try.
Well, if you're interested, I always wanted to do one, but never found the right people.
Oh, yeah? If you can get, a good, 12 people together, I'd be down for that.
Well, maybe we can work something out.
Maybe that could be part of your advertising campaign.
It wouldn't hurt. What's that now? And you have a couple of pictures in the background. What can you tell me about them?
That's actually my apartment in New York. I'm very, very big on keeping motivated and keeping your self-thoughts positive. I struggle a lot with depression, and so I've kind of worked through that in my life. So I'm very big on keeping your own self-thinking and self-affirmation positive. So I have quotes from people that I admire and kind of look up to, and they went through a struggle themselves. So I kind of have quotes posted all over my walls on my room in New York City to just kind of keep me going, keep me motivated, keep me inspired. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, you can ask me anything you want. It's a normal conversation. I don't want people to think it's one-sided or anything.
Yeah, well, what about you? What made you start doing this show? How long have you been doing it?
To be honest, I've been thinking about that. I started a long time ago. Maybe I would have gotten more hits, or I would have taken off back then. I just got sick of working in retail, and I worked in this one store, and I got tired of the bullshit and being manipulated. You have people taking advantage of me because of the war and disability, and one day I was like, screw it. Well, it is uncensored. I was like, fuck it. I'm going to do something that makes me happy. And for the longest time growing up, people says, oh, you have a learning disability, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I was using it for a crutch and using it for an excuse. Then I was like, you know what? I want to see how far it will go. So I started my talk show a year ago. My mistake was it was all audio conversations. Don't ask me why. It was all audio conversations. And I came up with 72. And people are like, oh, you should get sponsors, you should get this, you should get that. And I didn't know what my audience was. So I did it over. And thanks to you, I'm up to 61, back to where I was almost a year ago. And I know there's this one guy that I'm talking to who's, I'm not praying too hard, but I really hope it works out. He's a TV producer, so hey, if this one doesn't work out, maybe something else. But the whole point is I'm pursuing it just to make a statement.
Yeah. That's great. And the fact that I think the more you do it and keep at it, it will eventually lead to bigger and better things,
That's true. Well, it led to our friendship.
Yeah, it's amazing you're so persistent, and you can tell you're very dedicated to this project, and that's very, very admirable. A lot of people would just, think, okay, I did this for a year and on to something else. But you seem very dedicated and you have a goal that you want to accomplish. So keep at it, I say.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Now, I'm going to ask you a couple of hard-hitting questions, and you can answer the ones you want or pass on the ones you don't want to. But the first one I was going to ask you is, do you believe in karma?
I don't necessarily believe in karma. I think that people, you should treat other people the way you want to be treated, and my faith is very important to me in my life. So I don't like to think that if somebody is harsh against me that, it's going to come back and bite them in the ass. But I do like to believe that hopefully people will learn from their mistakes and grow from them. So I don't necessarily have the opinion of karma where I hope that somebody, will be wronged because they wronged me. But I always hope that people can grow and learn from something that maybe they probably didn't approach the best way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. And the reason I bring it up, it's funny, one reason I hated retail is because I worked with a bunch of assholes, and especially high school kids. And one of the things was... People can be
harsh, and people can be mean, and I work in hospitality, and a lot of times in the restaurants you get people that kind of treat you like you're below them or less than them, and it's just kind of like, I'm a human being just like you are, so can we just approach each other on the same level here? But a lot of times that doesn't happen.
No, it's true.
Unfortunately.
The reason I bring up karma, it's recently, and then there's an article in the Times Herald Record of this girl I went to school with, and at the time we were link good friends. And unfortunately, her sister was annoying. Not saying that I'm on many prize myself, but we were like best friends or good friends, if you want to say that. Her sister was like, oh, come sit with us and come sit and do this with us. It's like, okay. And they used to sit there like the whole time with their eyes glazed over, mouth open. And I was like, so how's everyone doing? How's everyone's day? How's your weekend? Yeah, it's like, no, I can't deal with this shit. I have enough issues. And they were just fucking with me. And I just basically said to her, we're good friends, and I don't want your sister to mess it up. I would like to be friends with your sister. Just tell her, stop fucking with me. If you want to be friends, then, act like it. Don't invite me over, then just stare at me for 20 minutes, and then as soon as I walk around, make fun of me. So basically, that started a whole big bullshit thing. Like, they got very obsessive. Keith's doing this, or what's Keith doing now, and blah 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 blah. So it was funny because while that was going on. Hold on, shush. Sorry, my cat. I don't know if you can hear him. He's yelling. My cat's yelling in the background.
Yeah, I hear.
While it's going on, you were making more and more excuses, and it was getting more out of hand. So recently, I was at the newspaper, and I won't give out any names, but her and her husband got arrested. And they were basically stealing money from people who had learning disabilities. They were basically... They and her husband, they both worked for EMTs. I said EMS, but they were EMTs, and they would drug people and take out their money. So as soon as I saw, hey, they got arrested, I said, fuck yeah. It took 10 years, but these assholes got what they deserved. So basically I was excited when I heard they got arrested because they made my life a living hell, and it was a matter of time before karma got to them.
I'm sorry you went through that. That's hard. That's hard.
No, it's a learning experience. It's just, you hear, from people, kids pick on you, but it was mostly the teachers that gave me a hard time because the excuses they didn't know how to deal with someone like you, or people are just assholes, or hypocrites. And that's the next thing I was going to ask you. Besides karma, do you think more people are hypocrites than out there?
Sorry, what's the question?
Oh, do you think people are more hypocrites than care about themselves?
I think that's a tough question because I think that I think there's a lot of good people out there, and I don't know if you see or hear about them as often because the news and media focuses so much on the negative, So I mean, are there hypocrites? Yeah, I'm sure there are. Do we encounter them every day? Yeah, we do. But I think it's more of a challenge to focus on looking for the good in people. And I really try to believe that everybody has good in them, I don't think it necessarily comes out very often because it's easier these days to just kind of deflect to a negative reaction to things. But I think it's more challenging to live looking for the good, So are there hypocrites? Yeah, I think there are. But I think everyone has. I don't think anyone wakes up in the morning and says like, "Hey, I want to be a dick today." I think that for some reason, maybe that's a defense mechanism, or maybe they went through something in their life that's made them this way. But I think overall, deep down, we all want to be positive. So I just try to focus on that with people.
Yeah, I will give you a perfect example. I tried reaching out to a couple media, the news channels, newspapers, and I really haven't gotten anything back. All they care about some rapes and murders and shootings. So, who wants to read that shit?
Right. And that's, unfortunately, that's what brings people's interest most of the time. They want to hear about the drama instead of, like, what you're doing is a really great media outlet for, like you said, people with disabilities to bring something positive and show that you can do this and it's awesome and put that on the news,
That would be nice.
Yeah. Maybe it will be.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you was everything going on in the media. Next weekend, I think on Saturday, Al Sharpton and his posse was supposed to walk across the bridge and protest. What's your opinion about it? This affects you more than it affects me because you're in the city.
Right. I honestly don't have enough knowledge of it to really know how. I don't really have a personal opinion on it right now because I'll be completely honest with you. I've been working on a couple films in and out of New York, and I haven't been up with the news to really know enough to give you an answer on that.
All right.
I'm kind of naive right now.
Moving on to the happier subjects, we can always get back to the hard-hitting ones in a little bit. Well, what got you very interested into acting? Like, what sparked your interest?
I think that, well, like I said, I've always been a writer. And when I was in college, I did a couple plays here and there, just kind of for more extracurricular. And then it was moving to New York and going to a conservatory where I studied musical theater and acting that really made me... It was really this... I had a class with a teacher, his name's Alan Langdon, and he kind of just made me finally see that no matter who I am or what point in life I am, that I'm okay right in that moment, that I'm enough, and that I don't really have to change anything about myself to to make an impact on this world, that you can just come as you are, and as long as you're being real and being honest, that you bring something to the world. And that kind of really hit home for me. I had always, when I was younger, struggled.
Sorry about that. My cat was like jumping up and down, making a racket in the background.
How long have you had a cat?
Well, it's funny. Sorry about that. But I actually have 5 cats.
Oh, wow.
I'm a cat person.
You like cats?
Well, I'm the youngest out of 4 brothers and 1 sister. So
cool.
When everyone, I don't mean hesitate, I apologize. When someone moves out, they replace them with a cat. My parents, like, oh, well, this one's moving out, we need a cat. Or she's moving out, we need another cat. Yeah. But the one making all that noise is Mr. Molly.
Mr. Molly.
Got a funny story about him if you're interested.
Yeah, please.
We got Mr. Molly outside ShopRite, and we only got him because we wanted a female. My parents wanted just a female. So we brought him to the vet, and the vet came out and was like, oh, you here from Mars? And we're like, Mars? Who the hell is Mars? Are you here no, Molly. Yes. Mars. But who the fuck is Mars? It's like, oh, Molly, he's not a female. He's a guy. See? You picked the cat up, sees his nuts? It's a guy. Like, well, yeah, thanks for pointing out the obvious. So, now most of my cats, have girl names. There's Cassidy, there's Chelsea, Maddie. It's really funny because they have human names.
Yeah. Well, they're taking the place of your siblings while they're away, right?
Yeah. But
that's cool.
That brings up my next subject. Are you an animal person, or do you you don't care about animals?
I do. I really love dogs a lot. I mean, I like a lot of different animals, but as far as pets, I like dogs a lot. I don't have one here in New York because there's just not enough space, really, I feel, and I'm gone a lot, so I wouldn't be able to, take them on walks and let them get outside. But a couple of my roommates have had dogs and cats that have gotten it's been nice living with them to be able to have their pets and play with their pets and enjoy them. But yeah, I'm a big dog person.
What type of dogs do you like?
I really like beagles a lot. I think they're very playful and a lot of fun, and I like huskies quite a bit too.
Oh, those are nice. Oh, those are nice.
Yeah, they're really smart. Huskies are really smart dogs. Yeah, but one day I'll have a dog of my own.
It's funny you mentioned beagle. I have another funny dog story, if you like. Yeah. My grandfather, when my grandmother passed away, they didn't want my grandfather to be alone. So on that day they went out, or the next day, I can't remember. They went out and got... It's sick, and it's like, he just lost his wife, my grandmother, and you're replacing her with a dog? Isn't it that kind of sudden? But
give him a buddy. Give him someone to spend his time with, right?
That's true. Now that's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
So they went down to the shelter, and they got this beagle, like you were talking about. And he was a racing dog. He had number 18 spray painted on his side.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a funny story. My sister was living with my grandfather, keeping him company and everything. And every time there was a thunderstorm, the dog would be in the window, or if it was outside, it would hide underneath the table. And his name is Benny. Benny, shut up! It's 3 in the morning. Arms, huh? Beagles are cute. It's just dogs. Cats are easier. Dogs are more of work.
That's true. That's really true.
I do like Pomeranians.
Yeah, that's my roommate had a Pomeranian. but my roommate moved to LA, so no more. Her name was Isabel, the little dog. And she was like a little princess, just pranced around. But yeah, they're really cute dogs.
All right. Well, is there any other subjects you like to talk about, or what motivates you?
What motivates me? Honestly, I think what we were talking about earlier is like being a positive influence in a society that's just filled with negativity. That motivates me. Like I said, I think I had struggled so much when I was younger with depression and kind of fear, and so now I really, my biggest motivation is hoping to make an impact on kind of young people who are going through the same things that I went through, and hopefully giving them hope that that you don't have to be afraid, that you do have something inside you to offer, and it's a strength about you and a light about you, and that's what motivates me, really, is to give kind of encouragement and hope to other people kind of going through the same things I did, which sounds a lot like what you're doing, being an example to others with disabilities, and I just think that's awesome.
Oh, I appreciate it. Now,
yeah.
I was going to say something, I just forgot what it was. Oh, I do the talk show for a couple reasons, and one, it's my way of making new friends. But it's also kind of therapy for myself. I have social anxiety, so it's kind of easy to break it down. So, when I worked in retail, I'll give you a little background story. When I was growing up, I never was the person to do sports or approach someone because, I had anxiety. But when I worked in retail, I had an excuse to walk out to people. Hey, if you need any help, here's my badge. And the talk show helps me overcome that. So it's making an example for multitude of different things. If you have social anxiety, you do this. If you are stressed out, and depressed, like you were saying, you should do something you like draw art. Just express yourself, and it's just everyone should find an outlet.
For sure.
I didn't mean to interrupt, sorry.
Oh no, I just agree with you. You need an outlet to express yourself. Yeah, for sure.
Was there any other subjects you like to ask me? Like I said, I don't want people to think it's one-sided or anything.
I think it's been a great conversation. I'm very inspired by what you're doing, and it sounds like you've interviewed a ton of people, so keep on rocking, I say.
No, I appreciate that. It's one thing. We're going back to the beginning of the show when we talk about hypocrites. People I interviewed the first time around, they said, "Oh, you're doing a great thing, and I would love to be on your talk show the second time." Those same people, I was like, well, it's not really an interview, even though it kind of is. How about you be on my talk show and do what we're doing? A Skype interview. Oh, I don't do that. That's like, wait, didn't you just give me your word? I would love to be on your talk show if you ask me again. Here I am, asking you like to be on my talk show, and you say, no, I'm not interested, or I get excuses like saying, I'm not interested, it was a one-time thing, I thought it would benefit myself. It's like, really? Yeah, how would that benefit yourself? Okay, you're taking the time to help me out, but it's, I don't mean to bitch to you, I apologize. It's just,
it's okay, I understand. It's like you said, it's tough, people, it's tough, but I think regardless of them, you are doing a talk show, and keep on doing it, and if they won't do it, find other people who will,
That's true. Well, wrapping up, do you have any subjects or funny stories you like to share?
Oh, funny stories, I don't know. I can't think of any offhand. but no, not really. I can't think of any. I don't know.
Well, do you have anything you want to say to your fans and listeners?
Well, it's awesome to have this opportunity, Keith, to be on your show, and I really respect and admire what you're doing, and I will definitely tell people about this interview, and I just hope you keep on persisting with it, because it's great what you're doing, and it's a big example to other people.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.